So we got a new Wonder Woman movie. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. Today I am talking about Wonder Woman 1984, directed by Patty Jenkins. She's returning as she directed the first film. This movie was supposed to hit theaters like a year ago, I want to say, and then it was supposed to come out in June, and now it is out in theaters and on HBO Max, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it. But before I do so, definitely hit the like button, comment down below your thoughts on Wonder Woman 84. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle on it? And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any content in the future. Rewind to the 1980s as Wonder Woman's next big screen adventure finds her facing two all-time foes, Max Lord and the Cheetah. So truthfully, I was more excited for this than Soul. They were the two big Christmas Day releases, and I was more excited for Wonder Woman 84 because I really wanted this epic action superhero blockbuster movie that we really haven't had all year because of all the delays, and unfortunately, I was pretty let down by this movie. When it comes down to Wonder Woman 84, it's just lacking a lot of things that make the first one great, in my opinion. The first Wonder Woman has epic, awesome action sequences, and this movie doesn't really have any for a very long time. Like, it was dragging for a while, and I'm talking like almost half the movie, in my opinion, of just waiting for something exciting to happen. They were hinting and setting up a lot of things, but it was so drawn out. And then there is a really cool action scene, and then we wait another long while. And I'm not the kind of guy who just has to have action to be entertained. I like the small character moments, but when you have like about an hour and 15 of that, it just starts to drag way too much for my liking. You saw from the trailer that Steve Trevor, Chris Pine's character, returns. His role, I think, could have been more crucial in my opinion. I'm not going to spoil it here. I might do a spoiler review or a live spoiler talk later on the channel, so stay tuned for that. And then, of course, the villain motivation was very weak in my opinion. Like, I will not be spoiling it here, but it was very gimmicky, just the whole premise of the movie when it comes to the villains and what they desire. And this whole kind of wish plotline, I won't go any further, like that, I was like, what is this? This is like something that I could nitpick the crap out of, and even people I was watching it with were doing the same. It's just too convenient. I'm not a fan of the way this movie is written. It really just came off as over the top and wildly cheesy to me, and yes, I'm fully aware that Wonder Woman, the original, is cheesy, and a lot of the DCEU movies have become that, I've heard. I haven't seen some of the recent ones because I've just been off DC lately, and unfortunately, I was very disappointed with this movie. There was a ton of sappy moments, and like tonally, it was just going left, right, and then there would be a cool action scene, and then we would get into this melodramatic 5-10 minute scene between a father and son or someone. It's just like, it was all over the place for me tonally, which was an issue that I had. Kind of took me out of the movie, and you know, when you expect Wonder Woman 84, the badass woman herself, to be on screen, you expect to see some really cool sequences with action, and you don't really get that until, like I said, halfway through, and then maybe at the end a little, but still, it was a little anticlimactic to me at that. I was very let down with the end of this movie, and it sounds like I hate it. I am picking on it quite a bit, but it was still entertaining, if that makes any sense. Like, I was entertained for the most part, but it was just bogged down, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, when is the plot of this movie going to kickstart? For the first 20 minutes, it's not even focused on anything really relevant. It's like a flashback, and then there's another scene that's very drawn out, which is cool, but like, when I think of great comic book superhero movies, they hook you in from the start with either an action scene or a really intriguing piece of information that's going to come into play later. For example, Captain America: The First Avenger, you see the Tesseract at the beginning, and that's like, okay, I know what the stakes are for the rest of this movie. Hell, even like the Winter Soldier has the epic action scene, and the Dark Knight has that opening heist scene that's one of the best openings ever. Now, I know it's hard to play the comparison game, but still, I would expect some cool action scene to kickstart this movie and be like, okay, we're going to get action later, but now let's sit down and have a moment with these characters and kind of flesh everything out. And that's not really the way it played out to me, and that was just a big disappointment. I wish that this movie would have went a ton of different directions. I think Pedro Pascal is really good as Max Lord, but his character I wasn't really fond of, and I don't even really fully grasp what his end game was, if you will, his objective. And that was disappointing to me. Cheetah, played by Kristen Wiig, I think she does a great job, especially stepping out of that comfort role for comedy movies. But still, her character, again, I don't really see what the end game was for her, what her ultimate desire was, and it just kind of fell flat when it comes to other comic book movie villains. I think there's tons that are much better. And of course, Diana and Steve Trevor's relationship is probably the anchor of this movie. Whenever they're together, that's when I was like, okay, this feels like the first Wonder Woman. This is classic stuff. There's some great banter between them. I had a few laughs, cracked some smiles even, but ultimately, like I said, I was just let down by the lack of epic action scenes that you would expect from like this big blockbuster movie. I think that it's a very messy movie when it comes to the script and just how things play out. And why is the movie 2.5 hours? I honestly don't know. Like, that's another issue with the script. Like, this could have been chopped 30 minutes easily. Like, there are so many moments where you're just sitting there like, okay, what is the relevance of this scene? Next scene. what is the relevance of this scene? And it just kind of got on my nerves after a while. And I don't know. The ending, like I said, was even anticlimactic. Like, the final shot wasn't even as cool as I thought it would be. So overall, I was really disappointed with Wonder Woman 84. It doesn't hold a candle to that first one, in my opinion, which I think is one of the best DCEU movies, and honestly, probably the best female-led comic book movie ever. And I know Black Widow could probably take that crown from it, but we'll have to wait and see. If you guys have seen Wonder Woman 1984, let me know down below. Definitely hit the like button, but I think that's going to do it for my review of the movie. If we get another Wonder Woman, I hope that it's better than this one, because man, this isn't a total stinker, but it's just like meh. Meh is the word I would use to define this, at least my experience that I had with it. I'm going to give Wonder Woman 84 my highest fresh score, which would be about a 6 out of 10 here. And on Letterboxd, that could either be a 2.5 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5, depending on my mood when I write that review. Definitely head over to my Letterboxd film stock. You can follow me there. My name Chris will pop up, and you can see my full written reviews for every movie that I watch there. I'm going to talk really in depth with my massive issues in the spoiler review that I do later today, whether that's pre-recorded or live. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean the world. I've got some awesome content planned for the rest of the year and heading into next year, so stay tuned for all that. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. The new year is upon us. It's about to be here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and until next time, see you guys later.